going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another NU match. This one's against Siggy, who has a pretty well-built looking team, so this is going to be a pretty interesting one. So I'm going to lead off with Marty the Zebstrika, who comes out with his sweet ribbon looking like a freaking boss, and he ends up leading off with the Quagsire. His name is not aware, but as you'll see here, he actually is aware of the fact that I have Hidden Power Grass on my Zebstrika because he switches out here. He ends up going into the Archaeops, and I feel like this is kind of a questionable play because of the fact that Zebstrika is naturally faster than Archaeops anyways, so I go for the Hidden Power Grass. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but then he probably sat there for a while and realized after Googling some stuff that he's actually slower than me, so now he decides to switch out into the Mesprit, who takes a Volt Switch, which is pretty nice because now I get to, choose my matchup against this thing, so that's pretty cool. So I decided to bring in my Scyther because I would like to start setting up against this Mesprit, obviously. And so yeah, Go Away Paul comes out here. His name is Go Away Paul because he ends up killing Slowbros and stuff like that. But yeah, he ends up bringing the Quagsire back out again, and that is actually bad news because I go for a Swords Dance and this Quagsire doesn't even realize what the hell I'm doing. He's unaware of the fact that I'm playing with fucking swords over here. And my Scyther is not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, so I actually end up switching out into Disco Balls. My main objective is to be able to get some sort of status on this thing. I really need that chip damage on this Quagsire, or else it's going to be a definite problem to my team. The only thing I have to hit it with super effective damage is my Zebstrika's Grass freaking Hidden Power, but yeah, so he actually goes back into the Mesprit here as I go for a Will-O-Wisp. It lands on this guy, which really isn't too bad because it's going to be, taking some chip damage, and it's never bad to, get a free burn on something. But I am afraid of this thing. I do not want to take a Psychic with Weezeek, and it's too early in the game to lose my, physically defensive wall. So that is cool. I end up switching out into Rock Candy because I know I can take, like, any attack from this thing, and I can also set up my Stealth Rocks and stuff, which I was not able to do earlier. But he sets up his own Stealth Cocks. That's cool. He takes some burn damage. It puts him below half, and that is actually pretty nice, as at this point, I believe I'm going to set up my own Stealth Rocks, and he is going to U-turn out of here. Does absolutely nothing to Rock Candy. Does not even scratch this homie. As I forget who he brings in here. He brings in the... Oh yeah, he brings back out the Quagsire, of course. This thing is just an absolute freaking annoyance in this match. Honestly, Quagsire is so good for NU. It's damn ridiculous. But yeah, so I get my rocks up. That's pretty cool. He actually goes and switches out again, which I was kind of confused as to why he would bring the Quagsire in and then just go right back into Mesprit. But he does, in fact, do that as I get a free light screen up. So that's pretty awesome. I now am going to be able to live special attacks. Honestly, the whole idea behind this team is to be able to set up the, the reflect and light screen with the light clay, so it ends up staying up there for a while. And my, more frail mons are able to take attacks from, decent stuff. So he goes for a Thunder Wave here, which is actually kind of questionable because it's like, Rock Candy does not give a shit about being slow at all anyways, but I get up a Reflect, so now I have both of my screens up. I am looking in a pretty good position to sweep. If he didn't have a freaking Quagsire, Scyther would be having a heyday out here, let me tell you. But he goes for a Psychic, literally does no damage, and he ends up killing himself to his burn. So that's a pretty decent threat out of the way. So Mesprit goes ahead and goes back into the old Pokeball for good, and now out comes the damn Quagsire again. So I mean, I have both of my screens up. I'm not going to really take any damage from this thing, but I can't really hurt it with a Moonblast. Plus, it probably has Recover anyways, so I'm in a pretty weird position. I decided to switch into Marty here because I know I can take a Scald. I don't really care a whole lot if I get burned. All I need to do is hit this thing with a Hidden Power Grass, and it goes down. Well, it doesn't kill at full health, but it definitely takes, a whole lot of damage from a Hidden Power Grass, obviously, but at this point, I make a bold prediction. I actually expect him to switch. I predict the switch, go for the Volt Switch. So that's kind of a tongue twister. But yeah, so he switches out. I go for the Volt Switch. Luckily, he did switch out because if I would have Volt Switched that Quagsire, I probably would have been pretty pissed off. But he was expecting the Hidden Power Grass. He brings out the Kecleon, and I get a free matchup against this Kecleon, which is pretty awesome. I decide to go into, I believe, Manskirt here. Yeah, I go into Hitmonchan, who's rocking the, the sexy Manskirt, jumping around, looking like a boss, as this Kecleon's actually turned out to be spin blockers. I always forget about the fact that they can protein themselves to Ghost type, and yeah, well, maybe he was probably just expecting me to go for a fighting type move, which is why he turned into Ghost type, but at least the Shadow Sneak does nothing to me. He is going to end up blocking my freaking, Rapid Spin. I wanted to get that shit the hell out of there, but nice play on his part, and Kecleon is just such a threat and never used. Honestly, I haven't used them a lot, but Kecleon's always seemed to cause me problems, but here I just decided to go for the Thunder Punch just to see how much damage it'll do. It kind of gives me a judgment on whether or not this thing is physically defensive. It turns out it actually doesn't take that Thunder Punch very nicely, so he cannot take another one, therefore he is going to switch out. He gets a knockoff Manskirt doesn't really give a shit about the leftovers, honestly, but he goes back into Not Aware, and Thunder Punch does not affect that thing, of course. So I don't really want to stay in here with Hitmonchan. I mean, I have Drain Punch, but that's really not going to do any damage at all. Plus, I don't want to risk him going for a Scald and getting a burn on Manskirt, because I need all that physical attack that I can get. So here I decide to switch. I'm going to go into Disco Balls. If there's anybody I want getting a Scald burn, I guess it's Disco Balls. Plus, I really just kind of want to land a Will-O-Wisp on this thing. Just to get that continual chip damage every turn would be fantastic. He gets a critical hit and the burn, so that's kind of a 2-for-1 deal on his side. So that's a bummer. Luckily though, Disco Balls is going to be able to actually outspeed this Quagsire after the burn damage. I'm in the range where the next Scald would kill me, so I actually go for a Pain Split, and that's a perfect move on my part because he's at full health, I get a dickload of health back, and in the process I do about half to him. Well, not half, but you know, close. But he goes for one more Scald. Luckily I can take that after the Black Sludge and the burn damage. I'm pretty much free to go for the Will-O-Wisp on this thing. So that is exactly what I do. I go for the Will-O-Wisp. It does land on the Quagsire on this next turn, but as you'll see, he actually ends up going for the Recover, I believe. Maybe expecting me to switch or something like that. I'm just glad that I got that burn because that's honestly going to be pretty damn helpful. This Quagsire is a pain in my ass, like I've said before. My team is just really not built to handle these things, honestly. But Disco Balls is looking pretty good over here. I'm kind of glad that he didn't go for the Scald there, but honestly, I mean, Recovery was kind of bad too, because now he's like back to full. But at least I got that chip damage. At least I got the fucking burn. So at this point, he is going to end up switching out. He realized that since he was at full health, he was setting himself up for a Pain Split. So he makes a very nice play here. He goes into the Kecleon. After the Stealth Rock damage, it's going to put him into red, and since I go for the Pain Split, I actually end up losing health myself and giving him a little bit of health, which was pretty terrible for me. I should have seen that coming, but I guess the Pain Split was a pretty obvious move there, but I just went for it anyways. Disco Balls is now after the burn at 21 HP, as he is going to go for a Shadow Sneak. Weezing is bulky as hell, but unfortunately not bulky enough to live a Shadow Sneak from this thing. I would have liked to get a burn off on that guy too, but, you know, what are you going to do? I could have played that Weezing a lot better, but, you know, whatever. I got the burn on the Quagsire. I don't know. So at this point, I switch in my Basculin as I'm like, yo, don't drop the Bass, as he just goes for a Sucker Punch. I know I can take that. I know I can take it either, you know, Shadow Sneak or a Sucker Punch pretty nicely. The Sucker Punch actually does a decent amount of damage to me, but I am able to go for the Waterfall, and that is going to take out the Kecleon, which is a big threat. Gone out of the way. Basculin, thank God. So, okay, so freaking Kecleon is out of there. Now he's going to switch into My Name Is, and he doesn't even tell me what his fucking name is. So I'm sitting here like, what is your name? Like, you freaking anticlimactic as hell. But apparently his name is Snow Warning. Okay, that works. My name is Snow Warning. Okay, yeah, he did tell me, I guess so. But I thought I was going to outspeed. Turns out he actually does outspeed me and goes for a Blizzard, which tells me that this is a Choice Scarfed ORAS, and I have never seen that before. That caught me completely off guard. I guess I probably should have seen it coming, considering he switched this thing in on a Basculin. I mean, Waterfall, Choice Banded Waterfall would have killed that thing, but, you know, what are you going to do? So Basculin is out of the way. He decides to switch out now as I bring in Hitmonchan against that thing, so he just goes straight back into the freaking Swagsire, of course. Swagsire coming in to just ruin my day, as I'm going to go for a Drain Punch, and at this point I'm really not that mad that he decided to switch into the Sire, because he's going to be taking hail damage and burn damage and stuff like that, so really in the long run he's not going to be able to hurt me too bad unless he gets like a Scald Burn and stuff, but what are you going to do? This part of the battle is actually kind of strange. As you'll see, we kind of have a little bit of a stall here, as the burn is going to bring him below half. I just figure, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to stay in and Drain Punch. Maybe I'll end up getting a critical hit or something like that. I don't know. I get back to full health after the Drain Punch anyways, but he just ends up going for the Recover, and he's basically just going to stay here recovering all damn day as I just sit here and Drain Punch. Taking that hail damage is going to be kind of annoying. This is a pretty slow part of the match, so I'm definitely going to speed this up a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, I basically have no reason to just not Drain Punch here. I'm just going to honestly just stay in here, keep on punching this Quagsire. If he just wants to keep on recovering, there is a pretty good chance that I'll get a critical hit eventually. Right there, it actually does not even do enough damage to kill it though. So I actually think I even get 2 crits in a row. So I got that crit, he actually goes for the Recover. He is basically just getting more and more health as I'm sitting here getting hit by the hail. I don't have any recovery because he did knock off my leftovers, which is unfortunate, but yeah. So the Quagsire after the burn, he's just above half, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, just keep on Drain Punching. I get another critical hit, does not end up taking it out, and he could just recover off that damage and brings him back above half. So I was like, fuck, even with critical hits, I still can't take out this damn Quagsire. Why is this thing in NU? Somebody please tell me. Like, I just don't get it. So here at this point, I figure, fuck it, I'm no reason to just Drain Punch. I'm not going to get another critical hit. It's not going to do enough damage, so I got a Rapid Spin off, which is kind of nice, as on that turn, he actually went for the Scald and gets the burn, so Hitmonchan is now just jumping around all slow. and that's unfortunate. Now Drain Punch is literally not going to be able to do anything, as he can just literally sit there and recover all damn day, as I just get hurt by my burn. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it. It is time to try to make something happen here. So I decide to switch into Marty. I predict him to go for the recover, as he actually does go for the recover, so I get a free switch in. Thankfully, he doesn't go for the scald and potentially get a burn. So after the recover and the burn damage, it's actually brings him to the point where Hidden Power Grass would kill. Doing damage calcs, it does not kill a Quagsire at full health, but just that little bit of damage there, I believe, got it to the range where it would have killed. I think I actually go for, okay, I think I get a critical hit anyways, actually. So I go for the Hidden Power Grass. I do end up getting a critical hit. I'm not actually sure if that was going to kill, but I believe it was going to kill. But anyways, the freaking Quagsire is dead. Like, I am just absolutely stoked about that, so the rest of the match should be a little bit easier for me. So now he brings out the pretty awesome looking ORAS, as I know this thing is choice scarfed and fast as fuck. He's gonna get back up the snow warning, bringing back out the freaking hail, as I'm gonna switch Marty out because I know I'm definitely gonna die. I decided to switch into Manskirt because I'm basically just gonna fodder this thing off. I'm not really worried about having him on Shan for the rest of the match, but I know I can at least get a little bit of damage with a Mach Punch. Even though I'm burned, just that little bit of damage definitely helps. I get freaking hit by the hail, hit by the burn, hit by the blizzard. Just Hitmonchan just got all sorts of fucked up there, but he is actually going to switch out, not wanting to take a Mach Punch. He makes a nice play and goes into the Haunter, as I could have predicted that, but I just went for the safe play, went for the Mach Punch, but it was pretty obvious that he was going to switch that thing in. Honestly, kind of a misplay on my part. I kind of blew it for Hitmonchan there, as I died to the hail, which is unfortunate, but the good news is I do get a free switch in on the Haunter, as I bring in Rock Candy. I feel like, you know, honestly, now would be a pretty good time to try to get my light screen back up so I don't take so much damage from this thing, plus the ORAS. So he goes for a Sludge Wave. Luckily, does not do a whole lot of damage because Rock Candy is a fucking defensive monster. As I go for a light screen, and now I'm just going to be able to take those special attacks way better. So that is pretty awesome. The Ghost over there is taking, you know, hail damage. I can honestly, at this point, I know I can take more attacks from it, so I figure, fuck it, I'm just going to start throwing Moonblast at it. I know it's not going to do a whole lot, but honestly, that little bit of damage on Haunter, they're not really defensive anyway, so he actually does take a decent amount of damage from this Moonblast. So I do go for it, throw the freaking Moon at him, and it does a decent amount, as he's getting hit by the freaking hail some more. And I'm honestly feeling pretty confident that Carbink can actually win this matchup if I don't get paralyzed this next turn. He goes for a Sludge Wave. Again, it is not going to kill me. I live it with 7 HP. After the Life Orb recoil, the Moonblast is going to actually end up killing this thing. Thankfully, I did not get paralyzed there, and the Haunter goes down. Carbink is the victor. So hell yeah, Carbink. I fucking love this thing, man. So the hail stops. He is just going to bring back out the ORAS though, and he can definitely just kill me with a Blizzard. So yeah, the big dinosaur comes out, and he's going to get hurt by the Stealth Rocks, which is fortunate for me because that thing takes a decent amount of damage from the Stealth Rocks because of its typing, obviously. He's going to get back up the hail, and a Blizzard is going to take out Carbink, but hey, you did your job, Rock Candy. You did your job, besides being freaking delicious. So that thing dies, and at this point I have a free switch into Paul here. Since I did get that light screen up, I am able to take the Blizzard. That light screen came in pretty damn clutch. Eviolite freaking Scyther takes that Blizzard quite nicely, but I get fucking frozen, but plot twist, I thaw out the next turn, which is unheard of. Every time I get frozen, I literally never thaw out the first turn. And that was extremely clutch. When I saw the freeze, I was like, oh god, I just lost the match right then and there. But luckily, Scyther did not feel like becoming a popsicle for too long, and that is freaking awesome. So at this point, all he has left is his Archeops, and I do still have Zebstrika in the back of my team. So that ensures that I can outspeed this thing and kill it with one Thunderbolt. So at this part of the match, I honestly just expected him to go for the Acrobatics and just kill me. So I just clicked on Aerial Ace. I guess I should have clicked Brick Break. It would have been a better move to click on. Honestly, at this point in the match, I really thought he was just gonna kill me. I was not expecting Scyther to be able to even do anything to this anyways, as he's just gonna stay in here and just roost again. As I honestly should have gone for the freaking Brick Break as he went for the Roost. It would have done a lot of damage, but my dumbass just goes for the Aerial Ace. Overall, though, like I said, I didn't expect Scyther to even still be alive at this point. I just really want him to kill me because I know that I can just bring out freaking Zebstrika for the revenge kill. So he finally goes for the Acrobatics, like I thought he was going to do on the first turn, but yeah, so Scyther goes down. Fortunately for me, I am just able to bring in Zebstrika, who can outspeed this thing and end up killing it with a Thunderbolt. So that was a very intense match. Kept me at the edge of my seat for sure. That freeze was extremely fucking detrimental. It could have been the end of the match for me. But Luckily, Thunderbolt is going to take care of that thing, and that is the end of the match, guys. So that was a very good battle. Thank you guys for watching. If you thought that was intense, hit that thumbs up button, and you'll be awesome as fuck. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.